Okay, this is going to be a quick video on lift and drag and drive and hold. We're going to start off with a surfboard that looks something like this, and a surfboard fin. We're going to stick back here, just a single fin, and then I want you to imagine, if you could, that we've got water flow that goes something like this. And imagine you're going directly at the water, like that. Now, if you have a situation where you're going directly at the water, your surfboard fin is going right into the water and doesn't have a whole lot of drag. You might say that it has a zero angle of attack, AOA, 0 degree angle of attack. On the other hand, if you were to turn it sideways, it would act like a paddle, and that would be a 90 degree angle of attack. So imagine that everything in between can occur. You can either go at 0 degree angle of attack, or if we rotate, maybe you're at a 10 degree angle of attack, or 20, or 30, or 45 degree angle of attack. And imagine here, like I was saying, that you were already all the way over at 90 degrees. So this situation down here, where you're at a 90 degree angle of attack, that's going to be a lot of drag, but up here, that's not much drag at all. Now what I want to do is explain this a little bit differently and in terms of a graph. So I'm going to scooch this over a little bit, like that. Put that right there. I'm going to create my quick graph. I'm going to put on the x-axis the 0 degree angle of attack, and then a 90 degree angle over here, and then a 90 degree over here on the left. So imagine if you're turning right or left at 90 degrees, or you're going 0, that's what we're talking about. And I'm going to put a drag curve on here now. Like we were talking about, if you're going right into the water, you're not going to have much drag. Over here, you're at a 0 angle of attack, you're probably right about here. You've got some drag because you've got a fin there, but not a whole lot of drag because it's straight into the water. On the other hand, down here, you got a lot of drag because you're at 90 degrees. Your fin is at 90 degrees to where the water is flowing. So that we represent by putting a dot up here, and then your fin, every fin will behave a little bit differently, but maybe you've got a curve that looks something like that. And because it works the same both ways, for a symmetrical fin, you're going to have a curve that looks like that. Again, at the top, that means that you've got a lot of drag like that, and going straight into the water, you've got not too much drag like that. What about lift? Lift is something that I've talked about a little bit in a separate video, but the lift of a fin depends on a lot of different factors, but one of them is the angle of attack. Going straight into a wave or going into the water, you're not going to have a whole lot of lift. But as you turn away from the water, you're going to increase that lift dramatically up to a point, and then it stalls out, and then you're going to lose your lift dramatically. In an airplane, when you stall out, you're going to end up falling through the sky down to the ground until you get your situation. Maybe point your nose down and decrease your angle of attack, and then you get your lift again, and then you can start flying. So for any particular angle of attack, you have a certain lift curve, and if you're going left or right with the symmetrical fin, it doesn't really matter. What we're talking about here is the lift and the drag. Now, you can imagine that if you're going straight down the face of the wave, you don't have a whole lot of drag, and you don't have a whole lot of lift. But if you turn, you start going one direction or the other, you start to feel this feeling of acceleration. You feel that sometimes on a cutback, what have you. But what you're feeling is the power of the fin, the Yahoo moments that come from drive. And that's what we're talking about here. is the difference between the lift and the drag for any particular angle of attack. That's your drive. So drive is the difference between the lift and the drag of any particular fin. And again, there are only two forces that act on surfboard fins. Surfboard fins are governed by the laws of physics and the universe and are not subject to special rules for surfing. It's just science. Drive is the difference between the lift and the drag. And that will be different for any particular fin. Some fins might have a different design where they have more lift early in a turning situation or more lift late, depending on the fin design. They might have more drag initially and then behave better later, or they might have more lift later. It's hard to know. But until you design these fins, it's hard to understand what it is that you're trying to do. But we try to maximize the amount of lift per unit of drag over a wide range of angles of attack. That's kind of our primary design objective, although we do have others also. Anyway, that's lift, drag, drive, and hold in a nutshell.